This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Our goal with our videos is to empower you to be able to do the repairs on your own and save a whole lot of money and also get that great feeling of having fixed it by yourself. Today we're working on a Whirlpool thin twin, and the washing tub is a little bit off center. So probably a couple of the support springs underneath may have failed. First thing we'll do is remove this panel. Two Phillips head screws. Pull that panel out of the way. And we want to get this one off too, the top panel. There's a couple of screws right there and right there that we have to remove. And once those are out, you can slide the panel towards you a little bit and you can lift up. And underneath here there is a modular switch, or modular plug for the lid switch. You're going to press in on that tab and then pull it apart. It's just waterproofing on top. Once that's off, we can take this panel off. And there were a couple of screws there and there that was holding it in. So we get that out of the way. And now with that panel off, we can take out a couple of screws right here and one over here. Then we can get this panel off. And then we get a better view of what's going on. I'm going to use this thing to get into that angle a little bit better. Right there. We got out that screw, and we got one over here, same thing. Get that screws out, and then what we can do is we can lift up a little bit on this panel and it'll slide off. It has some clips at the bottom, but you just have to lift up. That panel comes off. We got a better view of what's going on with the machine. And these shocks sometimes come loose, or sometimes they kind of break free from the metal here. The metal gets corroded and then it falls. Looks like that's probably happening in the back. One of those shocks hooks to the bottom with a nut. This strut comes up, goes through that metal, and then you put a nut on there to secure it. What's happened in the back is the metal's corroded and it's fallen. So to fix it, I'm going to lift up the tub and I'm going to wrap one of these around the post. I'm going to lift up. I'll tighten this really tight underneath, and that'll keep the washer lifted nice and even. And it's a pretty fast way of just getting these back to being even. Otherwise, it's pretty hard to get in there and put like a fender washer underneath, and you have to remove the nut, and it's just not very accessible. So this is another way you could do it. We'll show you here in a second. So we're just going to loosen this all the way so we can open this thing up. We can open this and then we're going to wrap it around the affected one. This again is a brand new one. And we'll close this and we'll get this in position. Start squeezing this tighter and tighter. Now make a really secure bind, and then that metal can sit down on top of this, so that'll be a lot stronger. Give it upward support. It's a pretty fast way to cure the problem. Alright, so you got this hose clamp open. You're going to put it around the strut here in the back and close it, and then I use my wrench to tighten it up. I'm pinching it shut. That's tightening. in there, so I'm going to lift it up to the right height, and then I'll tighten it up. There we go. It's already better. I think I got to get a little higher still. I'm going to get it in position, and lift up, get up higher, and tighten it up. So now it's actually supporting the weight. Not the perfect solution, but it's pretty fast and it should last. Make sure you get this tight. So I got a tool thing underneath the motor bracket to kind of lift the whole thing up. Got my hose clamp in position. I'm going to raise it up a little higher and then tighten it so it's giving support underneath that metal. I'm going to loosen it up a tad, using a pretty big extension to get in there. I'll lift it up higher underneath, better support. Get it tight. Alright, so I think it's going to do the trick. Got the tub nice and balanced now. We're going to go ahead and put it back together. So we're going to put the panel back on. And there's these clips here that the screws go into. There's clips at the bottom that go into these holes. So we have to put it in a little bit higher than we want initially, and then it'll sit down on those clips. And make sure they both engage. Yeah, so both of those are engaged. So we're going to add those screws back in. Alright, so we're just going to tighten those two screws up. Got them in position. That one. That one. Got it. So we got this a lot straighter. Got the leak taken care of. Put this piece back on. So before you put it back, just make sure that these guys are kind of in position where you want them. So they go in, and then you're going to wiggle them around, and then they're going to fold down like that at a right angle. Same on that side. There we go. And they're going to go into these little holes there and there. So we're going to get that in position. And we're going to make sure we connect this one back. It just plugs in. Just make sure it clicks. It's all the way locked in. And then this is going to slip in underneath. This rim is going to slip in underneath these plastic pieces. Like that. Locked in. And then we got to put those two screws in the back. I fed that screw in by hand, and I'm just going to use this to further tighten it. They're really hard to do because you can't see. The other option is to get around behind the machine. Sometimes that will mean that you have to pull the machine out or away further from the wall so you can see behind. This one I can feel though it's feeding in really good. It's just hard because you can't really see what you're doing. Alright, got that in there nice. Tighten up that one screw. There we go. Nice. Alright, we're going to put this back on. We just moved that to give us more room to work. On, and then we're going to put that plate back on. This is that front plate. I'm just putting this piece of rubber back on. It slides over that rim. Got it. Nice little schematic on there. Let's put that in position. Close it up. We're just going to add those two Phillips head screws right there. Get that in. Get that in. So a lot straighter, has good support again, and might get another 5 years out of this machine. These are pretty old, but it's pretty good. Let's try the spin cycle. Sure it can drain good. So it's got good support again. Got all 3 shocks working. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope this gets your thin twin balanced again. Please subscribe when you get a chance. Thanks again.